Next time you're in Dollar Tree around the holiday season, you want to get creative, but your shelves are a little bare. Don't you worry, I have some creative ideas for you to take some of their everyday items and transform them into Christmas DIY decor. Wood pallets are a great base for pretty much any project, and I really love them for fall DIYs, but at Christmas time, they make amazing present DIYs. We're going to make a set here gluing these two pieces together using some Titebond Quick and Thick and some hot glue. To attach them, I'm going to use some tumbling tower blocks. Usually I use some popsicle sticks or tongue depressors, whatever you guys like calling them. I call them popsicle sticks. I'm out right now, or they're hiding somewhere in this craft creative cave here, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to utilize the tumbling tower blocks. I'm going to take just a little bit of that Titebond Quick and Thick and some of that hot glue and put it on the seams, and then press the tumbling blocks down on them and allow this to dry for about 30 minutes before we get to painting. I'm going traditional with the colors. Remix this idea and transform them using whatever colors you want and utilize as many tumbling tower blocks as you would like. I'm taking a little bit of water and giving my palette a spritzy spritz. I've painted hundreds of palettes, and one of the quickest and fastest ways I found is to wet the palette down. It smears the paint. And I had some sassy person be like, oh, if you used a bigger brush, it would go quicker. No, it doesn't actually, because guess who's tried that? Me. And you know what happens? I still have to go back and get in all those little creases. Size sometimes doesn't actually matter. Okay. Anyhow, moving on. And a little tip, when I shared the paint colors, there were two different green colors. I did not have the exact color green I wanted to use in the chalk color. So I took some acrylic paint and I mixed two together. This helps me save money, especially when I really only need one color for one particular project. This is an easy, budget-friendly go around. Once the pieces were all dry, I grabbed some fabric that I had in my stash. I do a lot of estate sales and auctions and stuff like that for reselling purposes. Thought this would look amazing. This lace was sent to me from a subscriber I recently opened live on Whatnot in an unboxing package wars. If you guys are not hanging out with me on Whatnot, here's a little plug for that. I've been having people ask what Whatnot is. It is a live selling platform, kind of like eBay. I get on there, I craft live, I resell items you see me make in the videos. You can get napkins, you get to ask me questions, all kinds of things. I usually keep a link down in the description box underneath this video. Just click the more button right underneath here and click on that. Starting this month in November 2025, we will be doing a monthly show. So you think you're funny? If you guys can make me laugh, you're gonna get giveaways. When I was all done cutting down the fabric, it was time to bring on in the stapler. Now, honestly, I could have glued the fabric onto the pallets, but you know, we don't never really want to miss out on an opportunity to see Fred, do we? I wrapped two different sections and two different pieces of the fabric on both of the pallets, giving them a little bit of a contrast. So this way we didn't have the exact same colors on the pallets. And again, take this idea and remix it. This next part, people, I am horrible at bows. I'm just being real, okay? I am not the channel. If you want to figure out how to make a wreath or a bow, go any other DIY channel, not this one, okay? You want to decoupage, you want to get creative, you want to get artsy fartsy, I'm here for you. But bows and wreaths, they're not my thing, okay? I did give this my best go to start off with, and I was not happy with it, okay? I'm like, I want to try and go messy, but make it loopy, you know? So I was just cutting sections, looping them around, layering them until I felt that it looked okay. Listen, at least I know where my strong suits are, okay? Anyhow, moving on. I grabbed some bits, okay? I was like, we're gonna save this. We're gonna take some pine cone bits, we're gonna grab some buttons, and we're just gonna glue them together, add a little bit of greenery. And they actually turned out really, really great. The dinnerware and chargers at Dollar Tree are always a great idea to be able to add a little something into your home, especially around the seasons, without breaking the budget. And people, I am a fan of vintage and antique dinnerware pieces like this, but they're not always in the budget to be able to add around your home for decor. So taking some of Dollar Tree's pieces and then grabbing some transfers to add onto them can give you that same high-end looking feel without the cost. For these charger decor ideas, we're going to be taking my own creative product line, TDS Creative, and adding some of the transfers right to the center. I'm just cutting out a couple of the larger pieces from 2 different transfer sets, and I'm going to put them right in the middle. This is super easy. If you struggle with stencils, transfers are always an amazing way to go. Just takes a couple of seconds to really rub whatever piece you pick. You do not have to use TDS Creative items. Dollar Tree also has their own transfers. There are many personal boutique brands that you can get transfers from and create your own DIY home decor. Take these ideas and remix them. There are so many different ways you can use transfers on plates. You can even decoupage the back of them and put the transfers on the front. If you get the clear plates, that always turns out really good. I also like taking some of the transfer pieces and putting all around the edge. I wanted to keep these super simple and just add something nice and big right in the center and show you how sometimes less is more. One of my favorite items to pick up and DIY with at Dollar Tree are their arched frames. These are really high-end looking once you give them a nice little paint job, and there are a ton of ways that you can utilize these to incorporate them into your home for decor, whether it is a seasonal thing or an everyday thing. For this project idea, I'm going to be removing the glass because I'm not going to be using it. Instead, we're going to be taking one of the IOD ornament pieces. This is resin from one of their molds, and we're going to be putting that on top of my TDS Creative Decoupage Tissue Paper design. We're going to cut a little section out around the lace border as our background. There's a lot of real estate on this piece, but I want it to really have that little lace section at the bottom. It just traced around where I want it and then trimmed it out to size. Next, I took some of my Waverly chalk paint and gave the frame and the backing, the little cardboard section, a nice coat. This way everything just looked better. That plastic frame, it usually has marks and stuff on it, and paint always just does a little something for it. I took some of my TDS Creative Artist brushes in the fan style with a little bit of Mod Podge and gave a nice layer to the piece, and then attached our decoupage tissue paper right on down. I wasn't concerned about wrinkles. I just rubbed it with my fingers and then plopped it right back in our frame. I took some Type Bond Quick and Thick and attached our ornament piece right onto the center here, and that's going to be it for this one. There's always a lot of glass items to choose from and get crafty with, but one of my favorite items to pick up, whether it's vintage or brand new, are mason jars. We're gonna go a little farmhouse with these joints, so we're gonna need to grab 2 of these wooden spoons. Now these I picked up from an estate sale. You guys can grab them. They have them at Dollar Tree, Dollar General, wherever. And then I'm gonna take some little IOD resin molds. If you don't have anything like this, you could use some of those 3D pop-up stickers from Dollar Tree. They would work just fine for this idea too. To attach these molds, I'm gonna use some of my Type Bond Quick and Thick and a clamp. I'm going to take one of the trees and put right in the center, and these resin pieces They're stiff, and people don't get it twisted. I don't actually pour these resin pieces. My friend Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs, I have one of my admins on my Facebook who sends me pieces, and then I order pieces from my friend over at Tracy's Crafty Creations. I don't actually have any of the IOD molds and create the resin pieces. For anybody wondering, I order these or they're gifted to me. So if you're looking to pick up some, Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs has them, and Tracy over at Tracy's Crafty Creations. I usually have those links down in my description box. While those were drying, I started painting. My favorite paint for glass is multi-surface, but I wanted to have a little bit of texture on this, so I went with chalk paint instead, and then tappity tap 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 all over the piece using one of these pouncers. And I picked these up in a bundle from Amazon. For anyone wondering, I get asked where I get my pouncers all the time. Then I took the clamps off when these were dry and put a nice layer of white paint all over these two. Once they were dry, I then grabbed my TDS Creative Dry Rub On Transfers. Now, people, you want to make sure before you apply transfers to paint that your paint has cured at least 24 hours, or you apply a little layer of sealer and then allow that to cure for a couple of hours. Otherwise, that transfer is not going to stick on there adequately. It could peel up and possibly ruin your project. I love that noise. Now, I did take some black paint and go around the edges since I was doing a little farmhouse inspo. Wanted to also have those beautiful details on these molds really pop out and around the edges, given that complete farmhouse feel. I used some greenery and some little cranberry bits inside of our mason jar. You could absolutely top this off, adding twine around the top if you would like, but I decided not to, and really love how this came together. If you're looking for more Dollar Tree Christmas inspiration, check out this video right here. And as always, people, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. Until next time.